Yeah, once again, you're welcome. Welcome to another set of this tutorial series. Today, you're going to be learning lighting compositing because lighting is very paramount when it comes to achieving realistic rendering in Revit. So you need to understand how to set your lighting parameters. And so we have two types of lighting which are natural and artificial. Artificial comes from as comes from the one powered by electricity, which are your wall mounted lights, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth, etc. So that is the artificial. But the natural comes from the sun and the sky, what we call environmental lighting. And so these two will put you through on how to compose it in a Vray for Revit for achieving a proper realistic rendering, as you can see here. This is an overcast, but you will get to know it. You're welcome. So let's slide into today's.
Yeah, let's begin again. In the last tutorial, I showed us how to assign Vray materials to Revit materials, how to override Revit materials with Vray materials we have created in Asset Editor. So, the most important aspect of this is that I would have assigned Revit material to my 3D model. As you can see, all the materials you are seeing here, from wall paint to asphalt to curb to all of the materials to wood to the wood panel you are seeing here, I have assigned Revit materials to them. For the windows, this sliding window, these sliding doors, they come with their own material, default material from Revit. So, and that is the joy of assigning Vray materials to override Revit materials. So, if you are not if you have not assigned Revit materials to your model, then it is impossible to override them with Vray material. So let's continue a bit. I will just do few, and from there we'll move on into another topic, another subtopic. So again, if you want to assign your material, you click here. Let me do this for the grass. So I will click here. You know, the last time I showed us how to use chaos scatter for grass, but now we will use 4. So I will just click here. You see, I have assigned floor, soil already readily to this. And as you can see, I have used this scale here, which is 200 centimeter converted to millimeter, 2000. So now I will still come here to click on this, the foregrass, which is what we have, the foregrass we have set here already. So this is what we have, and I'm also now clicking this. You might want to click these two, but but it won't click because it is a topo surface. Now, what will you do is that for the fact that the material on it is also grass, what we did here by clicking here will apply to this place too. All other places you have topo surfaces. This is also topo surface. Here is also topo surface. So now that is that for that. Then but make sure that those surfaces for grass are no more even scatter grass connected with them. So that is why I went to families to go. I want to check it, but it's a bit slow. Let's wait. Yeah, scatter. So what you will do is you will just unassign, unassign, unassign. So that if you don't unassign it, those grasses will mix with one another and will be getting your project heavy, and then your system will be lagging. So now next thing we will do is go back to materials. Click this. I want to assign material to here. Pebbles. That is the material that comes with it from Revit. So, and I don't have the material currently here. So, but it will be added later. It will be added later. So let me check. Maybe okay. I have this material here. Interlock. I think I have the material for interlock here, which is paving stone 081. I just want to show us how to assign displacement. So this paving stone I will give scale of 700 because I have used it over times and I know the kind of scale that fits into making it look realistic and will not be too bigger. Each block of the paving stone will not be bigger than how it is in reality. So I will just click here again. No, I will click here, this side, and then find this is the displacement for it, PS081. What does displacement does? Displacement works with bump or normal. So let me open. This is it. 0.1, but I will change it from 0.1 to 0.35. Now, the reason for this is that my geometry here for the floor, as you can see inside here too, is still the same material inside here. My geometry here is 1 mm thick. Is 1 mm thick. So why it is 1 mm thick is that by the time I apply the interlock material, the paving stone material, and then assign this amount of displacement. This amount of displacement will make it higher, make it thick, up to 50 mm in reality. So, and you see inside here, this what I modeled for the interlock inside these curb structures, from here down to here is 50 mm. So by the time I apply this displacement amount, then while it is rendering, it will come up and level with the curb here. It will be on the same level at in 50 mm. So as to add more realism to the interlock. So you will see when I will show you my final rendering of this. So now, like I said yesterday, the same thing goes with the grass. This geometry here is also 1 mm thick, so that whenever I apply my 4 with the settings, my 4 will be very thick, and its height will be reaching up to the edge of this paving block. So all these things are put in place to exert realism. Now, for the asphalt, let's go back here. Let's see this. For the asphalt and bitumen, I think I have an asphalt here. So asphalt, just as asphalt, and this is 100 centimeter, and that is going to be 1000 mm. So this is where I will stop on assigning materials. That is how you assign materials for all of your modelings, even for your doors, for your glass. So you assign materials even for frame, for window frame. You assign materials to every of it. Let me just click this window frame. You see, in here you have glass. I have the glass here. Yes, this is the glass. So this glass is for window. This one is for glass tinted blue. Is for this. It's for this railing. And so that is just it. That is how I will assign materials to everything, except for this dumpster, for these lighting fixtures of this. I will leave them with their material, their Revit material. They will come out fine because they are small objects. They don't really need to assign Vray material to. So now let's quickly move to light compositing. Yeah, the first thing, because we have artificial lights in our model we want to use, so the first thing to do is I will come to this artificial lights. I will just on it. That's all for heat. You don't need to on them in Revit. So once you switch this on, they will get on. So here I will come here, this Vray on. For my rendering, I like to use I like to combine V-Ray with HDRI sky. So I will just leave it like this. V-Ray is intensity. This intensity is how much you want the sun to shine. So, and then this sun size is how much this and this works together. If you increase the sun size, automatically the intensity will increase. If you increase the intensity, automatically the sun size will also increase. So now what I will do next is I will go to this background and to custom. Here I will click on checkbox image, and this is where I will apply my HDRI. So I will click here, open, and then let me go to where my HDRI are saved. Revit, for Revit materials. HDRI. HDRI. Then I think I'll prefer to use this. Let me check. Maybe it's the one I want to use. So this HDRI, you can download it from polyhaven.com. Make sure you don't download JPEG. You download the one that has the extension of EXR. Yeah, this is the one I want to use. Now, that is just all. At this rotation, let it remain at spherical, because this spherical means that your sky is like a dome around your building. Your sky will be like a dome around your building. And this this rotate, this is for rotating the sphere. If you want to change, probably, let me show you here. It works in degree. If I want to rotate horizontally, that I want it to shift the sphere of the dome, the HDRI dome to shift. So I will just, let's say 45 degree. So you see that this thing is moving. That is a direction of shifting. So, and then you know that this place is your north, this place is your south, this is your east, this is your west. North is where we have the 0 degree. Coming down to the east, we have 90 degree. Coming down to the south, we have 270. I mean 180. Sorry. Coming down to the west, we have 270, and going back to the north, we have 360. So now that means 0 degree equals 360 degree. So by this 45 now, I have rotated it to this side. So if I say I'm rotating it to 180, see that's come to this side. So that is rotating horizontally. Now, if you want to offset vertically, it's also work with degree. So let me turn this to 0. So because in your modeling at times, this this HDRI might be featuring all these trees, all these backgrounds might be featuring, and you might not, you don't need them. So offset horizontally. This offset horizontally will make the HDRI turn, will be going down, so that all these trees will not show. So what will you do is, if you keep adding maybe 5 degree, and you click on interactive rendering here, interactive rendering here. It will show you how to set it. 5 degree, we make it go down. If you had 10 degree, we make it go down. That is why it's set offset vertically from up to down. So that is how it's different from this rotate horizontally. If you this rotate horizontally goes from side to side, from left to right. So that is that on HDRI. And this brightness, I will leave it at 40. So, but for this model and most of my models, I don't even touch these ones. I don't touch the rotate H offset V. So now what I will do next is that from changing from V-Ray sun to dome light. So now under dome light, you can remove this custom and change it to none. Then you can simply just add your HDRI here. So that means you only want to use the lighting from the sky to do your modeling. The lighting from the HDRI, you don't want to combine sun with it. So, and then you keep increasing this intensity until you get the actual light you want on the actual amount of light you want on your model, on your rendering, so that once your modeling is lit as the quantity of light you want to be emitted from the sky on your model, that means your model is lit, it's not dark, you are okay with the lighting. So that is when you stop the intensity. But most time I think 70 is okay. And so you can see this offset V and rotate H here too. So for your dome light, so dome light will only work with the sky giving you lighting, giving you natural lighting, so without the sun. But me, I prefer to use the V-Ray sun and then come to the custom and then add HDRI to it, combining the two to give me more realism effect. That is that on how to set your natural lighting, and just keep your artificial light on. So we've set the natural light. So let's come to the camera exposure. So here in camera exposure, leave it to standard, side by side, leave it here. Sunshine 14, that is the best for sunshine. You want your camera to understand that the rendering you want to do is a daylight rendering. So you have your sunshine at 14, then average daylight, the white balance, you have 6,500. The exposure, you have 14. So on that effect, you leave it to, just leave it to, because this one is being used for focal and defocal. If you want to render this scene now and you want to focus on the area, all other areas should be blur. That is when you will need this, but we won't go there now. So your settings for daylight rendering when it comes to camera is okay like this. So let's close. Now, where we will go for lighting again is here, appearance manager. Okay, we have it here already. I'll go to this global overrides and then click on artificial light overrides. That means you want V-Ray to override the emission from your artificial lights. So even including emissive material, click on it. So because in this this model we are going to use emissive. This is it, and I think I have assigned it. Let's go back to materials, emissive, because at the side of this building name is emissive. So let me click it. So we haven't assigned it, so I'll assign this emissive. So we have LED. So that is that for that. So let's go back to that global overrides. So and you can change the color filter here, but it does not need, because I can still add a filter color to it in post rendering, during post rendering. So this one I will just increase it to 5. So that is that. That is that on that. So what else? What else are we to do when it comes to lighting? So now let's quickly move to rendering settings. Rendering settings. So the first thing about your rendering setting is that you should know how to choose your views. Yeah, all the camera views I have created so far are here, and they will be listed here also in Vray. They will be listed here also in Vray, and this should not be difficult for you to do a camera view. I believe you are conversant with Revit. You understand how to use Revit. So you just come to your camera, then you pick a view. You pick a view. You can adjust it to what you want. Adjust it to the scope you want the camera to cover. So I can break this down a bit. So this is not difficult to do. So, but I don't need this. I only need this 3D view one. So, and going back to Vray, the first thing is to set this to 3D view one. Then coming to render production. This render production is, if you want to do your final rendering, this is the button you click. If you want to do test rendering, you use rendering interactive. But meanwhile, when you are using the rendering interactive, go to settings, let your sampler be at progressive and at CPU. For you to enjoy your rendering interactive very well, your system at least should be a gaming system. Like the one I'm using is a gaming system. It has NVIDIA 2 gig, and then it has CPU RAM, which is 16 gig. So that is how you'll be able to enjoy using interactive rendering. And then that is that on rendering production and rendering interactive. Rendering production and rendering interactive. Rendering production is for your final rendering, and then rendering interactive is for your test rendering, that you want to see how far the materials you have assigned, the very materials you have assigned have gone, how will they look like, and then until you are satisfied, you can use it for the HDRI dome until you are satisfied with the lighting. I've made mention of that previously. So now we go to this is when you click on this, it will just show you the viewing buffer, frame buffer. Yeah, this is it. So once this shows, you can not this. Make sure it shows like this. Double click to expand. So you can expand here. So you can also expand here. This here are for post production in this Vray frame buffer. It is usually called VFB. So now set your quality for interactive rendering. For interactive rendering, you should set your quality to low. Leave it at low. Your resolution should be low for your interactive rendering. Let it be at 150. So, and your resolution for interactive rendering should not be more than 600 to 705 so that your system will not be lagging. But one of its pixels must be 600. So, and if you want to do final rendering, this is how I do my final rendering. I will change this to medium. I will change this pixel to 1920. So this is almost a 2K rendering, and then change this to 300. So that is for my final rendering. So and then I will come to render here, which is from this is from here. This tab is from here, various settings. So and I will change some settings here. So but currently I will come to this area in our next video, our next tutorial video. So and tutor us on how to do the settings here. So for now, thank you and God bless. We'll see you in the next video.
Yeah. Thanks for learning today's tutorial. Thanks for learning so far. Thanks for your patience and then your learning. And then we'll see you in the next tutorial series. So don't forget, join, like, and follow us. These are our social handles. And God bless. See you in the next tutorial series.